For Sarah Penrod is coming to ZestFest.
Would you please welcome ZestFest 2015, Sarah Penrod.
Wow. Can you hear me good? I know we had some problems with that. That's crazy to see. Like, it makes me a little emotional. My name is Sarah, and it's nice to meet you guys. I'm from Dallas, so just to have this journey and be back here, you have no idea what I'm feeling right now. It's like a dream come true. So yay! Are you having a good time? ZestFest is something that I have been hearing about for a while, about 6 months, and I must have left and gone to culinary school. I guess I missed it because I went to culinary school in Arizona to follow that guy who was in the Air Force for his last year. That's my gorgeous husband right there. And it was so cool because it's the first time that I heard about a food festival, and I went to one of my friends and I said, they want me to do this thing called ZestFest, and they knew what it was, and they were so excited. So this is my first ZestFest experience, and I'm having a blast, and I hope you guys are too. As you know, well, you may know, Saturday and Sunday, I'm going to be doing a throwdown with Grady Spears, who is somebody that I've looked up to for many years. But today, I wanted to show you how to use some of the products that are for sale here. I did a chicken empanada on the news the other day, which is perfect for dunking in any of these sauces. But today, I have some pork for you that you can do in a lot of these different sauces that you're seeing here. There's barbecue, there's a green chili sauce that I'm gonna be using, and we're also gonna make a slaw. So the first thing that we're gonna do is talk about our protein. I love pork tenderloin because, first of all, if you get those big cases, there's 2 in 1 case. And for me, that's enough for my husband, myself, and our babies. And then I freeze the other one. You can also do beef. One of my favorite cuts is like a skirt steak. You can marinate it in a little bit of pineapple juice and soy sauce, maybe some garlic, and you have fajitas right there. So today we're gonna be using these pork tenderloins, and I'm gonna show you how to clean it up first. We've got our separate cutting board here. So, this is the thing that you're kind of doing battle with whenever you cook a pork tenderloin. It's got all this fat that comes off really, really easily. And I'm going to teach you a technique that we learned in culinary school that I fondly call the wiggle wiggle technique. It also works perfect for fish if you're cleaning a fish. So this is the sinew. This is never going to break down, and even if you were to cook it and try to eat it, it's going to be chewy, and then you're going to have this crazy thing coming out of your mouth. So you just want to cut right under it till you can kind of expose it a little and get a long tab. Probably the easiest way is to cut out this direction, out towards the side. And I kind of move this thing away. Okay, so you get like a little bit that you can hold on to. Let's get this too. And then you're gonna wiggle, wiggle. See? And you're dragging the sinew against the knife, but it'll just come off all in one piece. And if you miss a little, because this one wraps all the way around, you just do the same thing. And for all of our fishermen, they're familiar with doing this with the skin on a fish. So you just clean that up a bit. I guess a little doesn't mind. And once we put this in the pan, a lot of this fat's gonna render off, so you don't really have to worry too much about it. It's gonna add to the flavor, but mostly it'll just melt away. We can just clean this up like this. It's so fast to do a pork tenderloin because it doesn't really require much. So if I wanted to do a nice dinner for Derek and I would cut this in half down the middle. It's kind of like how we do in a hotel as well. Maybe you cut it one more time if you're a small eater. I could take this in a pan, I could salt and pepper this. I could take this in a pan and I could sear it really well until it's brown on all of its sides, and I can throw it in the oven. That's gonna be perfect for like the barbecue sauces that you find here. There's a great apple brandy sauce that my friend makes. I haven't gotten a chance to walk around, but all of you have been telling me about the wonderful sauces that you've found. There's a blueberry, that's perfect for pork. Anything, I think a little sweet is what pork needs and wants and desires. So that's a great way to do it. If you want to do tacos like I'm going to do today, I like to get them cut into discs. I say a disc or a coin, you know, like this. I don't know where this camera is. Can you see me? It's about this size. And then I just cut it into strips. It's going to be more like your fajita size. I like to do it one more time. To where they're little cubes. Can you see me, or do I need to be under here? I just want you to see how small they are. And that's because when we throw it in one of these nice rubs that you can buy, I know John's got a lot right over here, it's gonna cover more surface area. So it's really gonna give you a big oomph of flavor in whatever you choose. So, you know, like a cayenne, or you could do a little bit of espresso powder and some chili powder. That would be, you know, kind of something that you might have in the house. But I really encourage you to, you know, check out some of our vendors today, because they've done a lot of the work for you. And I've been working on my own products recently, so I know how much time they put into that. Okay. I think I really got into doing pork like this when street tacos got popular. I mean, I guess they've always been around. I think I had them when I went to Mexico for my senior trip. We won't talk about that. But you know, they have beef and then some white onion, cilantro, and lime. It's in a corn tortilla, and that's it. And that's all you need. It's delicious. I know white onion kind of sounds like that would be a little strong, but this combination is so classic. And I would come home and want to try something like that. But with beef, unless you buy, you know, kind of like a steak and cook it, you need some marinade time. Pork doesn't. But you could always do sirloin and taco. Okay. So we have our little cubes, and then I'm just gonna make a really quick spice mixture for you. These are things we probably all have in our pantry anyway. So let's go through this a little bit. We have salt and pepper here. This is a little bit of garlic powder. This is a Cajun seasoning. I like the one with the man's face on it, that Cajun guy. That brand is terrific. If you don't get a brand here, which you should, this is a garlic powder, onion powder, cumin. That's how I say it. I don't know about you guys. Chili powder. We could also use ancho chili powder if you have that. And I'm assuming one of these is maybe just one is regular chili powder, like Texas chili powder. I love Gebhardt's. I think everybody has their own favorite brand. And this is an ancho chili powder. The difference between these is the ancho chilies are gonna be just the dried ancho chili, dried out and powdered. In Texas, we take kind of the same mixture and we mix it with cumin and maybe some garlic powder and maybe even a little bit of Mexican oregano. And that's what Texas chili powder is. That's how it's different. When you look at the containers, the chili powder, like a New Mexico chili powder, usually has an E on the end, or they'll label it ancho chili powder. The Texas chili powder, CHILI. So that's kind of the difference a little bit, and it's really easy to make your own as well. So I'm gonna grab a bowl. Oh, that's already ready. Here's a little bowl for us. And take the pork that I cut up into little cubes. And I'm just gonna add some stuff so you can see how easy this is. salt, pepper, onion, garlic. I used to do a dish for Tony Parker when I worked for him. It was his favorite, and it was something like this with a little bit of chili powder and cocoa powder. And we would do steaks like that, and they were terrific. And you've probably got all of those things at home in the kitchen. So I'll maybe even use a little bit of the Cajun seasoning. And I think a secret to getting a really good sear is to have it really dry. So if you open up the package and it has a lot of pork juice on it, just dry it off with a paper towel and get it really dry, and that's gonna help it sear. It's gonna caramelize the way you'd get a steak at a nice restaurant, and that's where the flavor is. A lot of flavor lies in the fond of a pan when you sear it. It's like the sear coming off, as well as the sear on this steak. This is where I'm gonna get tripped up. Here we go. I think that they put these stoves on stage just to trick us. Okay, I think we're both on. Yeah. These are gonna start to get hot. When I'm at home, I use cast iron. Can I just get comfortable here with you guys? So I have my great-grandmother's cast iron skillet. When she passed away, they asked me, what do you want? You can go and take anything of your great-grandmother's. And I went right to that cast iron skillet. Everybody in my family was like, dang it, because that is where my memories lay of her. And so I always use cast iron, but these pots are wonderful. They're probably very expensive, and they work great. But I think at home, you get the most bang for your buck with good cast iron. And if you're a little iron deficient, when you cook with cast iron, some of the iron gets in your food, and that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. And it's kind of like, I don't know, a little bonus. So here's some, always smell our oil. If it doesn't smell like anything, it's fresh. If it smells like anything, throw it away and get a new one. And a tip that I use is I always put them in the refrigerator, and they'll last about 2 weeks longer. So when we're gonna sear something, we wanna use a really high smoke point oil. You don't wanna use your extra virgin olive oil for this. I know it's healthy, but trust me, it's not healthy for you after it starts smoking. Peanut oil, canola oil, chefs love safflower oil, and I love sunflower oil. So those are all pretty good choices. And if you've got, if you've really taken care of your cast iron skillet, it'll be slick for you, but you probably want to add a little bit of oil. I hope these are on. I think they are. So hopefully these are coming up to temp, and then I'm going to start our slaw. I know this one is for sure. There's some magic going on here because half of these are induction and half of them are not. Okay. The slaw is one of my favorite tips locally because we have something great here that our friends on the East Coast don't have. And that, I think, is the essence of cooking Texas or cooking regionally, is using the stuff that nobody else has. So there is these great packages of puree here. They're made by Goya. Oh, they're right here. We were defrosting them. They sell them for smoothies, and they have guava, mango. This is where it's at, okay? This is gonna make a fantastic vinaigrette. You don't have to juice your own, and nobody else has this stuff. The rest of the country, except for maybe chefs. I can't find these in California or New York. So I like to do, earlier when I was preparing this vinaigrette for you guys, I did half mango and half guava. I am crazy about guava. And you will be too after you try this. Maybe half and half. They also make great sauces for cheesecake or anything where you're just wanting to kind of add a little pop of flavor. So we'll use both of these. Are you here to check my stove? Yeah, just make sure, please. Okay, this is like a sweet base. And so we want to add some acidity to it for our slaw. Whenever you make your own recipe, which you should definitely try to do if you are, love to cook, is have some sweet balanced with some acidity. So I have some red wine vinegar. and some salt. And that's kind of the foundation of the sauce, and then we can just take it from there. I am gonna add some garlic. Okay, this little garlic, guys, precious. In the middle. Probably be a lot easier to do this in a blender if you were at home. Tricky, huh? It's like the Jetsons. Oh, it isn't? Okay. Well, then let me jump over there and just put this in there. So this one's hot, hot, hot. I think it needs a little more oil. How about that there is about 3 tablespoons of oil in here. And here is our pork. No, it's not that hot. This one's getting shiny. Okay. This cannot happen during the throwdown tomorrow. Yes, we'll give Grady this one. Okay, and then of course I prepared lunch for us all, so I have a lot more. Pretty soon you're gonna be able to smell that, and it is divine. It just smells like Texas. That's what it smells like. A wonderful Mexican restaurant or great barbecue in your backyard. Okay, I think we're almost there. One trick to searing, besides having your meat dry, your pan hot, and a good pan, like a heavy bottom pan or a cast iron skillet, the other trick is to not crowd the meat, because no matter what you do, the meat is going to release its water. Let's go Alton Brown for a minute, shall we? The meat is releasing its water, and it's evaporating. So the first thing it's going to do is go into the pan. If the bottom of the pan is covered in water, the trace sugars in the meat, this is getting probably a little too scientific, but it's kind of fun, are going to caramelize. That's that nice brown crust that we all want, that's just lick it. That is going to be where all the flavor is. So the enemy of that process happening is a bunch of water in your skillet. So we just keep it kind of separate, and then you'll have something like this where you can transfer the meats and you can continue with the rest of your raw pork. Okay, so in here we have garlic, we have both of our purees, and then I'm gonna add a little bit of Dijon mustard. The reason that I do is because I feel like everything is better with a little bit of Dijon, whether you taste it or not. I mean, we use it all the time in the professional kitchen to give just a really robust, balanced flavor, as well as it's an emulsifier, which means that when you take oil and water, Dijon mustard will keep it together. So it's perfect for your salad dressings, for something like this. I mean, it's pretty crucial to Caesar salad dressing. But even though we use this, it really won't taste like mustard. It just gives it some depth. And I'm gonna take a little bit of onion. I like onion in a good slaw vinaigrette because I don't really like onion in the slaw, unless you use maybe green onion or chive. Best in a blender, but if you don't, if you do it by hand, you're just gonna wanna dice the onion super small, almost to a paste, really. And in my mind, I know that a lot of these these sauces that we're trying today are a little spicy. So when I was thinking last night about what I wanted to cook for you guys, I knew I wanted to do a really tropical slaw because it's very aromatic, which means it's going to balance out kind of the smoky flavors and the heat, and then the sweets will kind of set your tongue loose if you have one of those really spicy sauces. It's a great balanced taco. Tacos are my favorite foods, y'all. Tacos and enchiladas. People always, they're like, Sarah, what's your favorite food? And they expect me to say something ridiculous. And I'm like, tacos, pancakes, enchiladas. I feel like that's where it's at. I just tend to modernize them, I think, a little. Okay. I have no idea what you guys can see. I hope that you can see this. It's getting nice and caramelized. The little brown pieces are where the flavor is gathering. And we can just do this in a couple batches. I've got a bunch up here so everybody can try it. Woo! All the anchos and the peppers and the garlic. It's like, you know that's gonna be good. Okay, so with mine, I used a little bit of cumin to season the dressing. I like it, some people don't. I don't think that there's really a substitute for it unless you like coriander, but you really wouldn't like that if you didn't like cumin. So any kind of warm spices are gonna kick this to another level, just another dimension for that sweet. Now, I've tried this before. I expected the puree to be very, very sweet, and it was just perfect. I mean, it was like pureed fruit. So I actually sweetened mine with a little honey. Okay, that's almost there, just a tiny bit of honey. You can sweeten with sugar, and you can sweeten with agave nectar. Honey has this special flavor. I don't know, it's like only God could have created something that is sweet but different than everything else. And I use it anytime that I'm using really spicy sauces to balance them out instead of sugar, because it just has that little bonus essence to it. Kind of a sweet floral. We have some great Texas honeys that are coming out, and I see more and more of them, and it gets me really excited because we moved into this, house. We're in this great neighborhood, and now we want our own chickens and a beehive, and they're never gonna let us have that because, let's face it, they get mad if we don't put our trash can out the right day. But there is people out there now that are homesteading, and they're making these wonderful products probably 10 miles from you. So all of those honeys made locally are made with the flowers that are in your own backyard. So honeys are very different from city to city, and it's one of the neatest things to sort of explore. There's our delicious slaw dressing. I bet you if you looked close enough around here, you could find something suitable for your slaw. I've got a few off the top of my head, but I really want you to explore the place today, and you'll probably find some fruit chipotle sauces and other things. Look at that. It's just like right off a little street cart in Mexico. So those sauces, who's got sweet sauces in here? Raise your hand if you have sweet sauces at your booth. There's these guys over here do, yeah. Any of those will probably go pretty good in a slaw. Maybe add a little honey. I'm really about, now the anchos are getting to me, I'm really about using local products. I think that chefs, we make a lot of our stuff ourselves. Here's the thing, I have toddlers now. And I get it. I get that not every day can you sit and make your own salsa or your own barbecue sauce. And I think that finding those favorite brands that you want to reach to when you're really busy is important. This is a great place to do that. I was just talking to Steve from the news saying, this is a great place to come because you don't get those samples at the grocery store. You don't get to try everything, and at ZestFest you can. And this is the place to figure out who you like. And another tip, if they don't make who you like at your grocery store, go ask, because they're interested in what you have to say. I think that was the biggest lesson I learned as a personal chef, is the kind of pull that I had when I walk in and I ask a buyer for something, and you're really helping these guys out. If you say, hey, I saw Texas Brew or Cajun or one of them at ZestFest, and I liked it, and why don't you carry it? They will love you. And not only that, but we're making sure that we have high integrity products in our grocery stores, you know, besides something that costs pennies to make and may be popular, but might not be that great for you.
Chef, I assume it's okay if we take some questions from our audience today.
Yes.
If anybody has a question for Chef Sarah Penrod, please raise your hand. We'll bring you the mic. Or are you just ready to eat again?
They don't have any questions because I've covered everything.
I agree, Chef.
I'm going to start my slaw now. This is my best tip. I don't know who would sit there and peel their own cabbage and slice it. So you start with a bag of cabbage. They have the angel hair kind too. It's really tender and it's yummy. I love that texture in your mouth because it's kind of like angel hair pasta. Just very gentle and fun, and it also collects all of the sauce that you put on it. If you make like a chipotle crema or something, it's just bathed in it. Did you start my corn tortillas? Did we start the corn tortillas? We all know how to make corn tortillas, right? You can either wrap them in a paper towel, get it a little damp, and put it in the refrigerator, in the microwave. Or you can put it in the oven wrapped in foil. I kind of like this method, and I also have this tip on my website. I actually got it from my best friend, but you can put a little water on this and microwave it, and that's how you can make your enchiladas. You know, the purists are gonna say, oh, well, it has to be in the oil and you have to do that. But again, I don't have all that time with 2- and 3-year-olds, and also that's a lot of calories. So you can save yourself a little bit, still make your favorite enchiladas by just steaming these in the microwave.
Chef, we have a question over here on stage right.
Hi.
Hello, my name's Rachel. My question is, what's your favorite grocery store to shop at? Like regular grocery store?
There's so many, oh my gosh, because I've also lived all over the country. I like H-E-B. I know you guys don't have it here. What? H-E-B, I know there's some, they're getting them here in Dallas. They're from San Antonio. I do like them because they'll have like a little natural department where you can find goodies and you can explore. I mean, I've got my Dead Sea bath salts over here. I started exploring that natural world probably through H-E-B. Another good store, let's say around here, I mean, I think all chefs get excited about going to Central Market, but it's kind of a destination grocery store. That's why you have to drive so far to find one. Whole Foods. Whole Foods gives me flashbacks to Food Network star though, so I don't tend to like that. Running through Whole Foods looking for everything for the battle at Gouy Savoie. But yeah, anything that has an assortment of neat stuff. So when I walk through the produce, if I see stuff like jicama and guava, especially kefir lime is my favorite. They're these delicious little limes. They're tiny and they have this weird skin and they're really funky looking. And you probably have to go to Central Market or Whole Foods to find them. But they're, excuse me, it's like smoking. They're very aromatic and they have this perfume to them where it's like a lime, but it's like a lime that's going out on a date, you know? And you can make margaritas with them. They're delicious. I had a delicious sauce in Washington, D.C. with them. So if you find kefir limes, go for that. And that grocery store would be my #1 pick. But yeah, I mean, I guess you have to work with whatever you have. But another tip would be ask your grocery store to carry the stuff that you want, because they will. But it's your power and your responsibility to ask. Okay. I'm batch cooking pork up here just to make sure everybody gets some, but I do want to make sure that I show you the slaw and then we talk about the sauce. Today I'm using this green sauce. I came to talk to the judges about the Fiery Food Challenge so I could understand what all this was about. And they are dedicated, you guys. These are people that do this every year. They don't let them talk. Like, I strolled in there like, I'm Sarah Penrod, I can do whatever I want. And they were like, no, Sarah, you're not allowed in here. This is no Sarah zone. These people are working. So they take so much integrity, so much, they're working so hard on this Fiery Food Challenge to make sure that it's fair, that it's honest, and that all these people are being, forthcoming about what they really feel. This is one sauce that I really like that I found that I put on my sandwich that day. And I know I'm not going to say it right because we all thought it was called exotic. It's spelled crazy. But it's not because he knows how to speak Spanish and I don't. So it's like zozotic or something awesome. But it looks really cool. And it's a green sauce, but it's about a medium heat. And I think he makes it with green habaneros, which I thought would be even more spicy than regular habaneros, but they're not. They have this grassy flavor. You have to try it. You will try it. Let's use it. So I'm not going to use this in the pan because I'm afraid it'll could destroy it, and he's worked so hard on it. You may want to do that, but this is already hot, so I'm just giving it a little green bath. And I know you guys like things spicy here, but I'll save some in case you're like, oh, I want to try it, but I don't know about that habanero sauce, but I'm telling you, this is where it's at. I think Gabriel even tried this when my 4-year-old was here. I've been blessed with a toddler who loves what I do, and he loves spicy food. He'll at least dip his salsa in it. And I know if you watch Food Network Star, you heard the famous line, making the guacamole is standard procedure for a 3-year-old in Texas. That I was talking about him. He's my little chef, and his job is to mash the avocados. So I've got a good one. We'll see about the other one. He seems like all he wants to do is drink milk. Will you come up here and help me with this pork so that we can make sure everybody, y'all, I made so much. I made enough for everybody. Okay. So we just toss it around, and then we've got the green sauce, and I want to leave a little extra for the people that aren't as hot inclined. I know, right? It's like I'm not going to say that. I was going to say it's like a bong. It's like a hookah over here. Okay, so we've got this dressing. Here we go. And I think we added some lime. This morning I got up and I was like, okay, been working so hard on Throwdown with Grady that I haven't even considered what I'll do Friday. And I just started putting this together. You can do that too. There's nothing everyone thinks that chefs are like, you're born that way. And I think some are. There's just some that they're ridiculous. It's like, they're not human. I don't know. They're like Tom Brady in the kitchen. But most of us just learned by just trying things. Here's our slaw. I like a really wet slaw. I won't lie. I don't like when it's like dry. It's like lightly dressed. No, thank you. We put some green apples in the slaw and some jicama. Jicama is this really weird, I guess it's a fruit. I don't know if it's a fruit or a vegetable. It looks like a turnip. It looks like those things from Super Mario Brothers that you collect, you know. But it tastes kind of like an apple, just not quite as sweet. I love crunchy things. That's probably my favorite sensation in food besides flavor is crunch. So if you don't have a mandolin, you just want to take this off. I'm just going to make it really easy on myself. You can definitely skin it with a potato peeler, but I'm just going to make little squares. And then finely julienne this. I'm surprised we don't have like a pre-julienne jicama in Texas since I use it so much. But it probably wouldn't be very good anyway because it needs to be nice and wet and juicy and crisp, just like an apple. And it's kind of like a little bit like one of those milder apples. It sounds like walking through the snow. I love that. Okay, so just fine. We're just making little tiny ribbons. It's a good do-ahead step. But again, things like jicama and green apple, those are just bonuses. You don't have to do that if you're squeezing in time to make dinner like I usually am. And I got our apple here. I like green apples. They're really good in fish tacos. They're sweet, but they're not too sweet, you know? You would never probably want to use a Red Delicious apple. Did you know that Red Delicious apples are the apples that don't taste like anything? What is about that? I don't know. Gala and Fuji, or Fiji, that's what I call them. Those are going to be your sweetest, honey crisp. Oh my God, it's like a dream come true. I know, right? I don't even know why we have Red Delicious apples. I can't think of one thing that I would really use them for. I always use Gala and Honey Crisp, and if you're going to make an apple pie, you want to balance something like Gala, Fiji, with or something really tart like Granny Smith, and then you have this combination. It's really complex and delicious, but I would never use a Red Delicious apple for that. There's Red Delicious lovers in the crowd right now going, that's Sarah. Oh, those are for candy apples? No, that's Granny Smith. Because you need something tart to counteract all of that caramel. Okay. Toss this up, and then here it is. Cilantro, let's talk about it. Some people love it, some people hate it. This is why. There's something called super tasters. If you're here and you're miserable, you may be a super taster. You taste hot things and cilantro and a couple different items differently than the rest of the world. There's nothing wrong with you. It just has a different reaction in your brain. And some people think cilantro tastes like soap. I think it tastes like heaven. But you can overdo it. I like a little bit, and I also like to keep it pretty large. I like it about this size, so every once in a while you get a bite of cilantro, but it's not in every single bite. It's like just a little happy hello every once in a while. Okay, and there we are. The only thing left to do, I salted the dressing, but I always salt the slaw a little extra, and maybe even an extra pepper, because the vegetables, they need a little bit of love too. And I got 1 spoon left, so I guess this is going to be the one where we try it. That is good. When you're cooking on stage, it's always hard to make sure it's balanced and perfect because you're talking and you're cooking at the same time. Now, we were just talking about how that never happens, but it happened this time. Bonus. Slaw, pork, and we've got our corn tortillas in the oven. If you have sauces that are sweet or creamy or would go well with something spicy, you should bring us all a sample right now, and we can put it on our tacos, and you can tell people a little bit about your product. So just get ready, vendors. This is how I put it together. Let me get a little plate. And our corn tortillas. Ta-da! Here it comes. Just peel a guy off. And have a little bit of pork. So we have Is this with the green or without?
This is with the green.
This is with the green. This has got a little green on it.
Chef, we have a vendor with a sample, I think, that
Yeah,
wants to
come on up
experiment.
here.
Go right
I mean-
ahead. Tell us about yourself.
If you got it,
Just tell us first.
Hi everybody, my name is Christina and I'm with Tamales Over Texas. Right here is our sweet and spicy cranberry salsa. It's got a little bit of jalapeno, onions, and cilantro. We make it sweet. We actually boil these cranberries down for probably 4 to 6 hours before we ever start to actually make it the sweet part and the spicy part, because we need to know what the natural flavor of these cranberries are. We need to know if they're too tart or if they're just perfect in the middle. If they're too tart, we need to go see how ripe they are and get some more ripe and mix them. So this is our sweet and spicy cranberry salsa, and it goes with our turkey and dressing tamales, but it also goes with tacos. And if you ever want to sear when you're doing your pulled pork or your beef brisket, it goes very well with it.
Thank you very much. You can take that right up to Chef Sarah.
that's what I'm talking about. If you think that Kraft or KC Masterpiece or any of them take that much love and that much joy in what they're doing, you're crazy. And she started this when she was 11.
My mom started a restaurant.
Give the microphone to her.
Sure.
My mom actually started our restaurant. I have 5 brothers, and we were just kind of poor farmers, in all honesty. And we kind of started with nothing, just with the high hopes, and we didn't even do tamales. And we just we tried to make them, and Mom was like, okay, that we want something different. We want something that's real. We want something that's authentic.
Okay,
and I was a
come over here.
homeschool student. And so in homeschool, this is how I paid, and my mother paid for my homeschool so that I could afford to do homeschool as we started the restaurant. So we've been doing this since I was 11. I'm about to be 22. So I'm pretty proud of it because this is what I'm still doing. This is what paid for my college. I have done tamales for college. I don't care. You know, I tell everybody, you know, this is what got me through. This is what started my schooling. So I'll hand it over.
Thank you so
very
much.
much.
That's exactly, I mean, that is exactly why I'm so excited and passionate about ZestFest.
Awesome. Tell us about your products.
Well, we have a line of fruit salsas. They're 100% fruit salsas. These are tomato-less fruit salsas. I know that may seem a little odd to some folks, but they are true salsa made with a blend of onions, blend of peppers, cilantro, a few other things. They start out sweet and fruity and then finish with a nice pepper heat, but they're not overwhelming like some of the other things you're going to taste here. But they do have some heat. They go great with a variety of things. Maybe Sarah can show you how to use some of them.
Yeah, let's see a couple.
The name of our company is Chehalem Ridge Brands. We're actually from Oregon. So we drove all the way down just for ZestFest here.
Yay!
Thank you so much.
Oregon is a great food state.
You can just put that right up there. Yeah, that stove's cool. And Chef, I want to tell you that our friends over at Texas Toffee Queen heard you talking about kefir limes. And they make a lemon kefir lime bird's eye chili toffee. And they gave it to you as a special gift. So
And let's have it right now.
okay.
Thank you.
This is from Texas Toffee Queen, lemon kefir lime chili toffee. I make no claim about how hot this is, Chef, so Dana, get some milk ready, maybe.
Is there any kind of toffee that isn't good? Oh, okay. Every toffee is delicious. And this one's spicy. It's not too spicy, I mean, but it would be good with a margarita. It would be good to crush up and to roll the glasses in instead of salt.
It's a great idea.
Wouldn't that be
Texas Toffee Queen, thank you so much. That sounds terrific.
This is what we're gonna do. When we do samples, Dana's hooking us up with samples. So we can line up right over here. Oh, that's gorgeous. And we're gonna put some of the different sauces on there, and we'll leave some naked if you wanna try any of the sauces that they're bringing up right now. And if you have any questions about how to use them, I can answer those questions for you. And if you came today, I'm so glad you're here. But tomorrow is the brutal throwdown, okay? He's not here right now, so I'll tell you, I have some crazy things planned for Grady. I love Grady. And I used to read his cookbooks as a 20-year-old on the banks of Possum Kingdom Lake. And so when we became friends, it was really great for me, but I do want to beat him tomorrow. So I'm gonna silly string him. I've got water guns. We're gonna sabotage him. It's gonna be a complete blast. Battle cornbread is tomorrow. I know he will do something savory. because he was like, oh, well, this green chili cornbread is great. So I'm gonna do sweet. And if you know me, you know that I'm not the most competent pastry chef, but I've left all that behind me. I've been working all week on a banana nut cornbread. I have a Mexican cinnamon ice cream, my grandmother's toffee sauce that's about probably a 150-year-old recipe from Sweetwater, Texas. And then I'm gonna make little buñuelos to go on top. So you really should come back tomorrow for that, because even if he beats me, he's not gonna go down easy. And Sunday is gonna be our battle chicken fried steak, but you know, he's the king of chicken fried steak, so we'll see. Everyone here is like, you're not gonna beat him. No, we'll see. Hopefully I will. So if you wanna taste some, come up here.
Well, I think, Chef, we're going to have the sampling stage over here on stage right.
Oh, I didn't even know you had it already. Okay, it's my first time, remember? Come on over here. Anybody who has sweet sauces that wants to let us all try, please come and join us and tell us about your family creations. I know that's gonna happen.
I will take it from you. Oh, they did. Go right ahead. Folks, come on over. Pork tacos from Chef Sarah Penrod as we get her mic situation straightened out. How about a big hand for Texas's own Sarah Penrod, everybody? There's plenty of sampling still to come. We're only about 10 minutes away from Chef John Bunnell on our Celebrity Chef stage, so eat up, and Chef John's coming up in about 10 minutes.